In 1956, the Cold War raged between the United States and the Soviet Union. It threatened to erupt into nuclear exchange and radioactive fallout, spreading a fatal, invisible poison across the surface of the planet. Every nation in the world feared what these superpowers would do. Italian writer Bruno Sammaciccia was given an old parchment map of the Rocca Pia castle grounds in central Italy. He called it his treasure map. In April, he was searching the grounds with his friends Giancarlo and Julio. They were approached by two figures. Julio was alarmed, suggesting they were security guards because they both wore the same uniform. But Bruno said, "I think not." One was very short, like a little person, and one was very tall, like a basketball player. The facial features of both were classically handsome, almost angelic, and they emanated an aura of love, like the warmth from an electric heater. They said the earth had been created for good, but man was close to destroying it. As representatives of other races of the universe, they were part of a group known as W56. But please, they said, just call us the Friends. We are tasked with protecting the planet from nuclear war. The Friends had been on Earth for hundreds of years, living in secret bases all over the world. One lay beneath Rocca Pia, in a very deep chamber which was almost 200 miles in length. Its vaulted ceiling was so high that the cavern had its own weather system, including underground rain. Their underground base was not dug out of the ground. Instead, it had expanded underground like a balloon, compressing the strata at its periphery into impenetrable walls. They were willing to trust Bruno Sammaciccia and the people he trusted. These people swore silence and allegiance to the Friends. However, in the 21st century, after Bruno's death, some have come forward, and all of them relate the same account. Historically, alien encounters had been limited to one or two people at a time. But these Italian witnesses would soon number in the hundreds, making the friendship event the first and perhaps only case of mass contact with extraterrestrials. The Friends were happy to provide proof of their existence to their loyal human followers. Sightings of their flying saucers were arranged by appointment. A photographer would be given an address and a specific date and time. Many of the photos that were taken of these UFOs were published in the Italian press. Soon after first contact, the Friends asked for human assistance. They needed large quantities of fruit, truckloads of grapes, and oranges and apples. Sammaciccia would pay for these supplies out of his own pocket. The trucks were unloaded by teleportation in a matter of seconds. To prevent the truck driver from seeing this, Bruno and Giancarlo would ride with the driver. They told him a crew would be waiting to unload the truck. Their destination would be within walking distance of a ristorante. On arrival, Bruno would apologize that his crew was late. He would offer to buy the driver a meal. Giancarlo was left behind to watch the truck. When they returned, the truck would be empty and very clean. The friends could teleport anything, even human beings. Teleportation, according to witnesses, was always accompanied by a blinding flash of light. The friends would reveal that they had an enemy, which also occupied secret bases on Earth. Known as the Contraries, they needed to be kept in check. The Contraries were materialistic and worshippers of science. The friends worried that mankind would end up following their enemy.
I'm an emergency room doctor and an internist. We're a group of physicians who are concerned with the prevention of nuclear war. Even a very limited nuclear war is capable of producing a worldwide catastrophe. And the result of this would be probably a global famine that could kill up to 1 billion people worldwide. A very large war causes a truly catastrophic disruption of the entire global climate. There would not be a single day free of frost, meaning basically that agriculture would stop. The vast majority of the human population would die as a result of this war. When our leaders have their consultations and their discussions about nuclear weapons, they act as though we could have a war and somehow survive it. They act as though we could have a war and somehow survive it.